Hello and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Joke Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from the Voice of America in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Joke Rogers in Lagos brings you that story.
Relative peace has almost returned to all parts of Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, as in the last 7 years the city has not witnessed any cases of infiltration by insurgents. In this special report, Channels Television looks at how business of buying and selling has picked up at the Sunday market as well as nighttime businesses across the state capital.
This is Damaturu, the capital of Yobe State that was once known for frequent attacks by the Boko Haram insurgents.
It is 11 years now.
This eyewitness narrates his experience about the activities of insurgents.
We lost all of our belongings and loved ones in that period. And up to this moment, we are still recovering. We are in the recovery process, which the Yobe state government has actively participating in the recovery process, which is yielding a positive result.
Kudos to the Joint Military Task Force, as relative peace permeates the state capital in the last 7 years without recording a single attack. Buying and selling in Damaturu Sunday Market, the popular Bayan-Tasha Market, night business, otherwise known as Dary, now thrives in addition to free movement of persons and goods. Some of the businessmen and women who fled the state following the attacks have now returned. Observance of religious activities are carried out peacefully without any fear of attack, unlike in the past when prayers hold under heavy security protection. The success story is attributed to vital information from the residents as well as sustained commitment of security operators.
We can now freely go to our churches for worship. Some years ago, it was even difficult for us to have the Christmas Eve, the New Year crossover nights, and even regular monthly prayer vigil and so on. But I can attest to the fact that of recent, we have enjoyed that peace, that we can come out even for our night programs. And in fact, most of the churches in Damaturu on the 31st of December had a crossover service night where we were in church till past midnight.
The security advisor to Governor Memalabuni charges the troops to sustain the tempo as he speaks on the expected security operations in the state in the new year.
In 2025, the military should expect to confront greater challenges from Boko Haram, and the military must buckle up and be ready to take the battle to the insurgents. It is only by so doing that the relative peace we are enjoying now can be sustained.
As the year 2025 is ushered in, the residents are hopeful that the remaining pockets of attacks in some parts of the state will be effectively countered by the military.
Joining us to discuss the relative peace being experienced in Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, is the security advisor to the Yobe state governor, retired Brigadier General Dakiru Abdulsalam. You're welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you very much for having me on this program.
In the report that we just watched, Damaturu, the state capital, has recorded relative peace in the last 7 years. What are the factors responsible for this current state?
Thank you very much. First, I would say is the cooperation of the citizens of Damaturu in particular, because of the situational awareness they have on the ills, dangers, and repercussions of supporting the insurgents. They know that it is counterproductive to support the insurgents. Therefore, they decided to cooperate with the security agencies. Key among them is timely intelligence, using what our governor said, native intelligence. We rely on human intelligence a lot, so that before any attack materializes, it is nipped in the bud.
While peace is largely reported in most parts, if not all parts of Yobe State, there are still pockets of security threats in certain local government areas such as Unisari, Gaydam, and Gujba. What's the government's plan towards ensuring that there's, good security and peace in those areas?
Like we always say, that there are now non-camps of Boko Haram in Yobe State. However, our proximity to Borno State and some notorious areas, for example, in Gujba local government area, there is the Timbuktu Triangle, which is within close proximity of the local government. The insurgents occasionally carry out incursions and attack soft targets. Sometimes they attempt the military or the police. Similarly, we have the Bulabulin Forest, which is between Damasak and Kanama in Unisari local government area. Damasak is in Borno State. So insurgents sneak in from those areas to attack. However, the state government has suggested to the military that it is not enough to clear those areas. When you clear those areas, you have to hold the areas. You have to keep some strong forces there that will ward off the insurgents. Otherwise, it will be an exercise in futility, because if you clear the area and you leave it, they will come and occupy it and continue with their heinous activities.
Can you give us an update of the situation in Mafa area where residents were attacked last year? Several people were killed. Have they returned, and what's the government's plan for them?
Some of the residents of Mafa have returned to their home state, because it's not easy to stay somewhere as an IDP, because being internally displaced had its own challenges. Now, just 2 days ago, we sent out a patrol to Mafa. The patrol confirmed that there are some residents that have returned to that area. However, criminal activities from people that impose illegal levies, especially something that looks like kidnapping on the residents, is still taking place. We sent out plain security operatives. They spent 3 days and came back. In fact, they came back with somebody who was about to go and pay ransom for the release of his relative. He was brought here yesterday evening and we are still profiling him. Now, what the government is doing is to ensure that a road is constructed from Babangida to Mafa, because the terrain makes it very difficult to reinforce the area should any attack materialize. The state government has concluded arrangements to develop the area, link it up with a third road, and also establish other amenities that will make Mafa to remain what it is, because Mafa used to be an important commercial center before the attack. In fact, most of the villages around the area rely on Mafa. People come from as far as Gaydam, some from Damaturu, that is our area, and Tarmua, headquarters as Babangida, to take part in market activities in the Mafa general areas.
We must thank you for what you're doing to ensure that there is security for communities across Yobe State. Thank you for your time on Africa 54 today. I've been speaking to retired Brigadier General Dahiru Abdusalam, Security Advisor to Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. After the break, small modular reactors bring affordable nuclear energy to less wealthy countries. Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Experts say small modular reactors called SMRs are bringing affordable nuclear energy to less wealthy countries. But what are SMRs and why are proponents so excited about them? VOA reporter Henry Wilkins explains.
This Vienna conference in late October is the first one held by the UN nuclear watchdog that focuses on small nuclear reactors known as SMRs. Rafael Mariano Grossi, the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, says less developed countries have signed deals to build the SMRs that will give them nuclear power for the first time.
The small and modular reactors, one of the most promising, exciting, and necessary technological developments that we have had coming for quite a long time, but that we know now that is going to be a reality.
Ghana and South Africa signed deals with firms to build their first SMRs. Others are already operating in China and Russia, and others are set to be built in Argentina, Canada, Britain, and the United States. But what are SMRs and how can they help the less wealthy countries access nuclear power? SMRs are miniature nuclear power plants with an electricity output about 1/3 that of regular nuclear plants. They're cheaper because of their smaller size and because they're factory built. They require less upfront investment, making it more affordable for smaller economies to get nuclear power. Modular parts make the small reactors easier to alter and upgrade and less expensive to maintain.
We need instant solution to address the energy security. As you know, that energy is the center of the economy. So this energy scarcity or the energy challenges that are faced in Africa, it kills our economy.
But critics argue that countries should focus on renewable energies such as wind and solar, which don't carry the environmental risk of nuclear power and don't produce radioactive waste. Ed Lyman, Director of Nuclear Safety at the Union of Concerned Scientists, warns SMRs don't benefit from the same economies of scale as larger nuclear power plants. He says his analysis of one company's SMR shows customers can end up paying 5 times more when compared to larger plants for the electricity they produce. Because of the higher generation costs, he says, operators might have to limit expenses and run a higher safety risk.
There's just too much pressure to cut costs in other ways, for instance, by reducing the number of operators.
Lyman also said a strong independent national regulator is essential for avoiding nuclear incidents, and that it's not always clear how SMR deals will be financed. Henry Wilkins, VOA News.
An artist in Ghana is turning recycled scraps into eco-conscious masterpieces. Michael Gar says he was inspired by his mother and grandmother, who are fashion designers. Take a look.
Michael Gar embarking on a quest through local markets to purchase fabric at a local open market with stacks of waste fabric scattered across the floor. The contemporary artist, based in Accra, uses recycled fabrics as raw materials for his creations to raise environmental awareness and utilize unused scraps. His passion for textiles and design was ignited in childhood, influenced by his mother, aunt and grandmother, who were always busy sewing around him.
Growing up, I would say I saw my mom, my auntie, and my grandmom sewing. So I fell in love with these textile pieces. Anytime I wake up, I see them around me. And then I was a kid that was cutting stuff. So I intend to like pick some of the design in it, and then I cut. So growing up, I said, why don't I use this fabric to like create some of my pieces.
Carefully organizing the material before cutting it into pieces, Gar carefully works on his new painting. Watching his family inspired Michael to experiment with fabrics of his own, a creative journey that has blossomed over the years. Reflecting on his artistic journey, Michael recalled a pivotal conference he attended in Italy where discussions around fashion waste and its detrimental impact on the ecosystem resonated deeply with him.
I had the opportunity to visit a conference in Italy where they highlighted this some point where textile waste is destroying our ecosystem.
He explains that he chooses fabrics that are often overlooked and unsold because they contribute to waste, but he's trying to change that thinking.
Trying to create awareness for people to be eco-friendly. So what I believe can change this issue is the mindset of people, and then that's my target.
With fashion offcuts from tailoring shops or second-hand markets, Michael's artworks are inspired by his environment in West Africa.
I work on multiple pieces at the same time, like 4 works or 5 works at the same time, because I love to channel energy to all of them. So it may take like 2 to 3 weeks to finish these pieces.
His iconic portraits, featuring faces without distinct features, have drawn the attention of the arts community, with participation in galleries organized in France, South Africa, and New York.
With prices rising, Nigerians are becoming creative. Thrift shopping, locally called Okrika, is booming, offering affordable options. Gibson Emeka from Abuja looks at how this market is becoming a lifeline for many in Nigeria.
For years, 30-year-old Agatha Okori, a successful businesswoman in Abuja, shopped at upscale boutiques. But with the price of new clothing more than doubling, she's now turning to second-hand shops for more affordable options.
I moved from buying brand new clothes to buying thrift because, one, aside the cost, thrift wears are more durable. I discovered thrift wears are more durable. And like we all know, brand new clothes are quite on the high side. They are quite expensive, way more than thrift wears. That's why they switched to thrift.
Okori is not alone. Once reserved for low-income shoppers, thrift shopping has become mainstream. Known locally as Okrika, thrift markets from Lagos to Abuja are bustling.
So they do all of this as the means of survival because the government is not helping, the economic situation is not helping, the Nigerian government policies are not favorable to consumers. So it is two ways, a means of affordability for the consumer and a means of boosting sales for the sellers.
Andrew Eze, who is 32, has seen this shift in fashion firsthand. When prices on new clothing surged, he switched to selling thriftwear in Abuja's famous Nyanya Okrika market.
A time came that the brand new became so high, that is the amount, the price in the market is so high that many cannot afford to get it at that price.
Studies show Nigeria imports more than 500,000 tons of second-hand clothing yearly. But even this alternative feels the pinch as rising import costs push some thrift vendors to raise prices. For many, like civil servant Chris Olofu, this means further compromises on quality and style to stay on budget.
Because in those days that economy was very good, we used to buy from high-profile boutique because there's a way we classify ourselves, living an ostentatious life. But because of the economy, the exigency in the economy now, it has made me at least to cut my clothes according to my size. But no, if the economic condition improves, I have to stop. I have to go back to my normal fashion.
Experts agree that thrift shopping will likely remain popular as long as economic pressures persist. This trend impacts Nigeria's local textile industry due to competition with affordable imported clothing. Boti believes investing in local textile production could eventually make new clothing more affordable, but until then, thrift shopping remains essential.
Government needs to invest in the sector, subsidize their operations, help to relieve the burden, the cost of production, burden of the cost of production on the manufacturer. That will translate to lower cost of production and cost of sales, which is the real accountability.
As Nigerians adapt to the changing economy, thrift markets provide an affordable option. For Gibson Emeka, in Abuja, Nigeria, Salam Solomon, VOA News.
It's a celebration of mixed cultures at the traditional Dary festival in Chad. The fanfare welcomes visitors to celebrate the country's national diversity.
Thousands of visitors flocked to the 6th edition of the traditional Dary festival in the city of N'Djamena to celebrate national cultural diversity of Chad. Participants of the festival dressed in traditional costumes, singing and dancing as attendees watch and film the performance. Various goods are also seen displayed on the stalls, including spices, food, as well as statues, baskets and jewelry made by local crafters.
I only exhibit handmade items and products, and also traditional items. So in front of us there are horn objects like flower pots and stools made from horn. There are also objects made from beads. We've made pickle jars and horn earrings.
One of the attendees described the festival as a mix of cultures that helps him rediscover his origins and the traces of the ancestors.
It's a desire to rediscover my origins. It's a motivation to come here, so to rediscover the traces of my ancestors, and that's what I was just saying. It's a mix of cultures. We find other cultures too, and that's the beauty of the Dary Festival.
The 6th Dary Festival, organized by the Ministry of Culture and the National Office for the Promotion of Tourism, Handcrafts and Arts, began December 2024 and it holds till the first Saturday in January. The festival's program encompasses an exhibition of national crafts, performances of traditional dances, and a market of local food.
An exhibit in Washington shed some light on a little-known layer of the sea and the strange creatures who live there. Attic House Art Center and Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution collaborated on this spectacle called Twilight Zone, Hidden Wonders of the Ocean. Maxim Adams has the story.
Giant squid, psychedelic jellyfish, intimidating anglerfish, and microscopic plankton. These deep-sea creatures are starring in a new audiovisual show at Washington's Attic House Art Center. Twilight Zone, Hidden Wonders of the Ocean, is a joint project of Attic House and the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, an independent non-profit organization dedicated to ocean research, exploration, and education.
For the last 6 years, I've been helping to lead a team of scientists, engineers, and communication experts in a big project that we have to do research to explore and learn more about this amazing part of our planet called the Ocean Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone is one of the less explored and more mysterious parts of the ocean. A layer of water between 200 and 1000 meters below the surface, it is in constant semi-darkness as sunlight hardly reaches such depths. Some of the sea creatures who live there only travel to the surface at night to find food. Many Twilight Zone inhabitants can light their own way in the dark ocean depths thanks to a chemical process called bioluminescence. They use their superpower to communicate, attract mates, and protect themselves from deep water predators, turning the deep waters into a magnificent light show. The exhibit focuses on not only the beauty of the Twilight Zone, but the vital role it plays in the well-being of our planet.
The more we as scientists learn about the Ocean Twilight Zone, the more we know how important it is to the productivity of the ocean, the productivity of Earth, and it even helps to regulate the climate of our whole planet.
The exhibition is the continuation of Attic House's collaboration with scientific institutions around the world.
From the collaboration with NASA, when we were talking about our universe and the amazing pictures from James Webb Telescope, then we, in a collaboration with the Society for Neuroscience, talked about the world and the universe, what's happening in our brains.
The exhibition celebrates the natural beauty of these mysterious sea creatures and makes a case for why we need to better understand the largest part of our world, the part that is underwater. Maxim Adams, VOA News, Washington.
And that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. Remember that channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Joke Rogers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.